This video is actually supposed to be a nice short video to kind of give you the very basics about the Federal Reserve and what the heck a Federal Reserve note is and what it has to do with silver. I try to find videos all over the internet. My friend asked me, what's a good video? And I could not find one because they were all so complicated and in-depth. So this is just an introductory one that you could show anybody and they would hopefully understand. So don't beat me up in the comments that I don't get in deep enough or it's not this or that. Don't worry about that. It's supposed to be nice and simple. Enjoy.
Well, if you haven't guessed where I am at Jekyll Island. Jekyll Island, if you don't know where that is, this is the Jekyll Island Club in Georgia. I'm standing in front of the Federal Reserve Room.
So Jekyll Island is actually a private club. It was a playground for the rich until about 1945. It was a place where bankers and millionaires would get together. Now, what happened back in 1913 was the uncoupling of silver and the dollar. See, the dollar actually used to be backed by something like gold or silver. You could walk into a bank, hand them a promissory note, looked a lot like this, and they would give you one of these. In 1913, the politicians and the bankers basically did a magic trick and made it so this was backed by nothing. You could no longer trade in your money for gold and silver. What eventually happens is they uncouple it. And why does the government do this? The government, the politicians, don't have enough money to actually pay for all the promises they make. They can't get it just from taxes. So a group of private bankers comes to them and says, look, you let us control your nation's money, and we'll give you a blank checkbook to write, and we'll give you money anytime you want one of these programs. So we'll just create money out of thin air. It's no longer backed by anything. So the politicians and bankers get into bed, and they do this deal. And it's got a real shady history. If you read The Creature from Jekyll Island, you'll find out that the government and the politicians both acted like they didn't like each other in the press, and they tricked the American public into voting this through and making their money worthless. And what eventually happens is, over the years, this dollar bill can no longer buy what it used to, because every time you print out more money, the dollar gets weaker and weaker. So when you used to be able to trade a silver coin, an ounce of silver, for $1 and they're about even, these days it takes anywhere from $30 to $50 to get an ounce of silver. So it's not really that stuff's getting more expensive. It's that you're printing so much money it no longer buys what it used to. And that's actually artificially deflated. The real value is somewhere close to $97 to $100 an ounce if it were to match inflation. In other words, the dollar, because they printed so much fake money out that's not backed by anything, has weakened the economy so much that it has about 97% of less buying power than it used to. And that really just shows you that all governments do this. They uncouple real money, real currency-backed money like gold, silver, commodities, and they just print it out of thin air. And you'll see countries like Zimbabwe, where they used to have a whole wheelbarrow of printed money and it was cheaper to burn it than buy firewood with it. So there's nothing really to keep the government from doing that. This government's also doing that. And my advice is to buy as much silver and gold as you can just to hold it as an insurance policy